Instagram, the sort of rise of that was really parallel with One Direction. And I think that was really key to how big they became and their popularity. We always appreciated it, but now it's all behind us. It's just like, oh, that was so amazing. But if you feel like you're being yourself, the most beautiful woman in the room can walk in and you still feel good. I mean, the past 10 years, maybe 15 years, has been such an exciting time for makeup.
Welcome to In the Makeup Chair, where beauty meets the stories behind the glam. With me, Lana Jenkins. Today in the chair, we have got Lou Teasdale, beauty powerhouse, business owner, and true OG of the glam world. From styling One Direction to co-founding Tanologist, she has done it all. Editorial shoots, backstage chaos, and breaking boundaries in alternative beauty. I want to hear it all. From the X Factor madness, tour life with 1D, and raising her daughter Lux on the road. So, without further ado, let's get Lou in the makeup chair. Today in the makeup chair, we have Lou Teasdale.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I am going to jump straight into it, and I want to know from start to finish about all your career. So let's start from right at the beginning. You were born in Yorkshire, am I right?
Yeah, I'm from Hull.
Hull?
Yeah.
Is that Yorkshire?
Yeah, Yorkshire.
Oh, okay. So did you grow up there?
Yeah, well, we were originally Middlesbrough but moved to Hull, so I did my whole school life there, where there isn't really much opportunity or anything like that. And I always wanted to be a makeup artist, but obviously it was a little bit like, you do need to think of something like a proper job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was one of them. And anybody that I ever did speak to was like, you know, there's no industry or whatever up here. So I kind of had to break out. I was 18. I just kept applying to London College of Fashion for literally any course that they would take me on.
Yeah, something creative.
Yeah, so that I could go from there. Mm-hmm. And I was really lucky because my mum and dad, and my sister was going to law school, and mum and dad were like really supportive and wanted us both to go to university. So I was like privileged in that sense that I was 18 and could get myself down to London and go for it. But when I think back, I was like completely on my own, didn't know anybody.
That is such a big move.
Yeah, and I just was like, I'm off.
Did you have any family in London or anything?
No, I didn't know anybody. I lived in this like flat share with this Spanish girl called Belen.
Yeah.
And
did she go to the college?
No, she was, I don't even really know what she did. There was a language barrier, so we didn't really speak to each other much. And it was like, when I think about it now, I'm thinking, I don't even know if I would do that now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I was just really like thirsty for it from really young to go and do something.
Because you're quite independent as well.
Yeah, I was really independent then, whereas now I'm not. It's like completely flipped around. But yeah, so I went to London College of Fashion. I did 3 years there.
And you moved there when you were 18?
Yeah, I was 18. So I was there till I was 21. And then up until I was about 26, I was just in the dregs of the industry where you're just assisting anybody that will have you, working for nothing. Like this was before anything really digital. So like the agencies would have websites where you could see people's work, but really you would drag your portfolio around agencies trying to show your work.
Door to door. And
you'd have to do shoots to do that. Whereas now I think with social media, I mean, the past 10 years, maybe 15 years has been such an exciting time for makeup.
Yeah. Definitely.
When it all sort of started happening, I didn't even really realise. I had Lottie as my assistant and she was like 16.
Did you?
And she was showing me all this YouTube stuff. And I was just like, a lot of makeup artists were quite stuck up about it and didn't want to know.
Was that like the very beginning of the YouTube era? It was
right at the beginning. And I was kind of like, that is amazing. That is really showing what makeup does in a completely different way for consumers, especially to sort of say, oh, I want to buy that.
And it's education as well. I feel like back in the day, I say back in the day, it wasn't that long ago, but like the way that makeup works was you went to school and then you did the makeup. Like I went to a makeup school, you went to college, uni for that as well. But now you can actually learn so many different ways. It's all on
in
YouTube.
Your bedroom.
Yeah, in your bedroom.
And I think as well, it's probably the same with a lot of industries like music and things like that. Really, really talented people can show their work now from their bedroom. Whereas before, you had to be in a privileged position really to go and do that job because you don't get paid for it for years. Yeah. Obviously, it can be a good career when you get there, but I think that is maybe a little bit better regulated now. But when I started, they didn't think twice about not paying interns and things like that. to work very full time.
Yeah. What was your first ever paid role?
Probably was X Factor. I went into X Factor
Really?
as an
That's
assistant.
a very good first gig.
Well, but I'd been working for years for nothing. Everyone would be like, you need to stay in the fashion industry. If you'd go and do commercial stuff, no one will be interested, even with music.
So did you know when you went to study fashion, was that because there wasn't makeup courses
It
available?
was a makeup course
Oh, it
at
was?
London College of Fashion, yeah.
Right, okay.
It was hair, makeup and photography.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So it had like a pathway, which I did. So we did have makeup lessons, but it wasn't really much, really. You had to go out there and be really proactive yourself. So say there's like 50 people joining every year, but really not many of them went on to be makeup artists because you had to be so proactive in your own time. So I would go and do loads and loads of assisting all of Fashion Week teams, all of that stuff, but I'd never get paid for anything like that. And then assisting fashion hair and makeup artists, and I did both. Mm-hmm. You'd never get paid for anything like that either. So I would do people's hair and charge cash.
Yeah.
Just clients that you try and
on the
make
side
a bit of
sort
cash.
thing, yeah.
But really, a hairdresser met me and he wanted a first assistant, so with him full time, and that was paid. And X Factor was his gig, so he did the whole team on it.
Right, so he was kind of the designer.
Yeah, he was the hairdresser.
Right.
He specialised in men as well, which is why I ended up going down that road because of him, because he barber trained me and he had a lot of like boy band clients, so he would do like Westlife and Boyzone, that kind of thing. And then he would want an assistant that could just do the skin. So I worked with him for a few years and that's how I ended up doing what I did.
What people don't realise as well is when you're a makeup artist in like TV and industry, you do have to know how to do hair.
Yeah.
It's like such a big thing. And I'm like, oh my God.
And it's really scary.
It's so scary. Like I'm technically a barber as well, but like I'm not that great at barbering.
No, because it's practice.
It's scary.
And hairdressers in the salon are doing like clients all day. Yeah. And so a couple of years in, then you're good. Whereas, I mean, me now, I haven't done hair and makeup for so long and people will ask me to the hair and I've just lost my ball completely. I could like really lost my confidence with it.
There's been times, it's probably bad to say, but someone said to me, right, the following day you're going to do so-and-so, and I've been on YouTube like, let me have a refresh because I just need to learn it again.
100%.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? So X Factor. Where did, obviously the role came about from the hairstylist. So was you full time on that then?
Well, how it would work was it was like seasons because it would start in September. So we would do like pre-stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe start looking at it in August and we'd start meeting some of the people that were coming through and doing some transformations. And that would go up to Christmas. And then there would be a tour. So I would do the tour because I did both and I was just a bit cheaper and I would go and do everyone on the tour. And then because I did the tour, I think that benefited me and that was how I got One Direction, was because I was on the tour, you're doing everyone every day.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Then they're putting out, the people who've got a record deal would be putting out their singles and they go, well, I like how she does it because they get used to you. So if they would go on a shoot with their PR team and the record label and someone else was doing the hair, really, because I was doing it every day, the other person, they're like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know, you get used to someone. Yeah. And so I would get like a really good in from that tour and I could kind of pick who I wanted to focus on and who I liked working with. So the year before, I worked really well with Ollie Murs and I just stayed with him.
That's good.
Because he was really nice. I just got what he wanted to look like. And it's the same with One Direction. Good looking anyway. They just want to look cool. They don't want to look like they've got a load of makeup on. So that was how that would happen. I would do the tour and then we used to do Britain's Got Talent as well. And that would sort of be the whole year really.
Really? So it would go on the whole year. So Britain's Got Talent, is there much difference in that? Was you still doing the hair and makeup?
So I was on the hair team for Britain's Got Talent and it was just things different. So X Factor, it would be, so you might find this right. If you're working with a celebrity and you're doing their hair, so there's what you think is going to work and what you want to do, right? Then there's what they want. And then with X Factor, you've got the judge. Their judge would be like their like head of category. So like Cheryl or Simon would say what they want. And then there's the producers as
I was
well.
going to say production.
Yeah, the producers, they're saying, well,
Yeah.
actually, we don't really want a transformation yet because we want to do that in the final. So you kind of need to keep her looking a bit like this.
Right. So then you've
And
got
you're
the
like,
battle.
oh, okay,
of-
because she wants to look really glam, but they don't really want it. But they're not telling her that. They're leaving that for me to just navigate.
Well, it's like you walking in and going, oh, can you do me a big bouncy blow dry? And then them going, actually, you can just keep your hair as it is. You'll be fine.
yeah, but they wouldn't say that. They would believe that for us to kind of pretend we're doing
Yeah.
what they want.
But did you have to kind of fake that you were
Yeah,
you were doing
yeah.
something really cool and then being like, ta-da?
Yeah, and it would be really obvious that we weren't. And as well, there was a lot of stuff like that would go on because there was the favourites. So it'd be the ones where they would want us to make them look great and really cool. And there's always this sort of cool versus glam thing as well. So a lot of the girls in the girl bands wanted to look really glam and they were really glam girls, but the record labels want them to be a bit rock and roll or a bit edgy, and they just get so upset because they didn't look like what they wanted to look like. They didn't feel good.
And they're new to the industry. They don't know that this is how it works.
They thought, I've got a hair makeup artist, I can say, I want to look like this. And it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I think most women, especially going into the industry, that have signed a really big record deal, that they're investing money into them, they do give them more say. Whereas with X Factor, because of the kind of TV program it was, I'm sure it's a lot like Love Island, they are deciding what's happening with the contestants.
Yeah, definitely.
And that they would feel like we were blowing their chance, and this was their one chance.
Really?
And
Oh, that's quite sad.
yeah, and it was, and
Yeah.
and sometimes it wouldn't sit right with me because you could completely see what was going on and how it was affecting them.
But how do you even navigate that? Like, how do you say to someone like, I can't make you look that glam? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, so I'm sort of not really sort of a glam girl anyway, so I kind of be like, this is, it's like that whole thing where you sort of try and make it look like you're educating them.
yeah,
Of, this is how it needs to be, and try and inspire them to get on board with it, and that it's going to be good for them to get on board with that. They sort of need to do that.
yeah, definitely.
And then, then you'd have like their mums coming in having a go.
oh no.
And it's like, like you've upset my daughter, things like that. And it was...
And really, it's not
it was,
you.
It was full drama,
Yeah.
which I loved, to be
And
honest.
it boils down to production, really. They should be the ones to be
They should be the ones handling it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as you know, like when you're in the hair room and the makeup room, that's where it does all go down.
And there's no one about, you're just in that
Oh, they
tutu
completely
and
leave it on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So One Direction, did you tour with them on that X Factor tour, or was it their tour as well?
No, I met them on the X Factor tour.
Yeah.
And they'd already signed their record deal. But to be honest, there wasn't much focus on them. So that year, there was loads of big signings. It was like Cher Lloyd. There was loads of big Rebecca Ferguson. Do you remember? There was like,
Yeah.
they were all like, had a lot of investment behind them from the record labels. And not as much them. But I just really liked them
crazy
because
now,
they were like
isn't it?
Northern
Yeah.
and really nice to me. And it was when I was pregnant, and they just, all of them just really looked after me on that tour.
How
And
pregnant were you?
I'd only just got pregnant. I was maybe 3 months, and I went on that tour and met them. And I hadn't worked on their series.
Yeah.
So it's the first time I'd met them because Ollie Murs was presenting their series. So I was
Right,
doing
okay.
him. I hadn't met them, and they were just really fun. And so I just tried to focus on that. Because I was pregnant as well, I was trying to have less clients, but who I felt relaxed with, and who I felt like just things like they were paying properly and their management were really nice.
Yeah.
And,
It makes that stuff so much easier,
people on
doesn't
X
it?
Factor at the minute, there's a lot of stuff about management and exploitation in the industry and things like that. And actually their management, I have to say, were, and I've seen a lot of duty of care stuff not be okay, and I'm not comfortable with it, but their management were always so amazing and looked after everybody and thought about everybody's
That's good.
well-being all the time. And I could feel that from really early on working with them, and I felt like it would be secure. And that's what you don't really have as
being
a makeup
pregnant,
artist.
You need that as well.
Yeah.
You need that support and stability in that.
Yeah.
When you were pregnant, obviously you're going on tour. Was it a full-time thing?
Well, what happened was when I had her in September, and they were releasing What Makes You Beautiful. So I missed a lot of the early promo on their first single. That went to #1 the day that I had my daughter, which was really cute. Yeah.
That is so cute.
Yeah. And then, so I missed a lot of the first single stuff. And they just had all different makeup artists, and I think no one had stuck. So as soon as she was old enough, after Christmas, she was like 3 months old, they were doing an Australia tour, and there was a bit of talk of like, well, what about if you all come and you bring her and her dad? Because I think with hair and makeup, when someone's making the talent feel comfortable,
they want you on board.
Yeah, and management see that and they get that that's really helpful for them. And when there's people coming in and they're not as comfortable, it's affecting the whole thing. They don't feel like they look good. There's someone in the dressing room that's not making them feel comfortable. And it was just a thing for all 5 of them really early on. And I think there was a bit of a family feeling about with them. They kept a lot of their team from very, very early on. And they felt like they could be themselves. And they were also down to earth. They didn't want to be treated any differently to anyone else in the room. And so I was just very, very lucky. I think when I think back, I was so lucky because in the beauty industry is amazing for women. It's amazing for moms. It's amazing to work for yourself and to be able to say, I'm going to have this time off and I need to make a bit of cash over here and things like that. But that industry is really difficult. For touring, it's really difficult. And I was made able to do it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, she was 3 months old and we were like, okay, we're going to Australia for 5 weeks, thinking this is a really big deal and we're going to be gone for 5 whole weeks. And then we didn't really come home for like 5 years.
Really?
No.
So did you stay out in Australia?
No, we just stayed on
touring around.
They just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right, so you just followed wherever they were.
Yeah, the tours just became more international, different markets, longer and longer. Obviously, we would come home for time off, but really, it went on for 5 years, And then she started school. As it ended, it was like really perfect.
Lux has been touring the world before.
She has, I know, and like, I know.
That is so
like,
nice.
I don't
and
know.
you know what? It becomes like you said, a family environment.
Yeah.
And you're the people that they see and they talk to the most, probably.
Yeah.
You know, when it's their...
And you're in their private space.
In their private space. So I feel like you have to have that comfortability.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to be around each other so much. So it's so nice that you were all there.
Yeah.
And all got to be a part of it.
Yeah.
What a nice experience.
It was a very nice experience. I was very lucky.
Oh, obviously, we have to acknowledge the passing of Liam Payne, which is extremely sad for the world, but probably definitely even more sad for those who like knew him and loved him. I know it's quite an emotional subject, but I just wanted to see if you had a nice memory or a fond thought about your time with Liam.
I suppose just in general, from what I was just saying, he's just such a down-to-earth person from a down-to-earth family who, like I say, looked after me and my daughter to go around the world. And, you know, I think it's just, there's not many people who are like that.
Yeah, it's true.
And he was like the biggest One Direction fan as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just loved it
Championed
so much.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so sad for all the boys.
Yeah.
And his family.
It really is. When you came home, and obviously Lux was a bit more grown up then, I suppose, because you were touring for so long. How did your career change? Did you want to kind of settle back down a little bit in London, or was you like, let's go again?
So that was a plan. I was like, okay, I'm not going on tour anymore. I want to be at home with my daughter and
have a bit of break.
Yeah. I just didn't want to travel anymore. And I had all of these followers and I was working with Lottie a lot, and some of the boys' sisters and girlfriends and people like that had followers, and this influencing thing was happening. And like I say, it was a really exciting time in makeup. And so brands didn't really understand social media. And I just ended up working with brands like Maybelline and L'Oreal and all of them who were using their interns to do social media for their brands at the time and didn't really understand it properly, and just started doing all that stuff and ended up like back around the world again, really, like launching brands and like with Revolve or like we just got so many opportunities off the back of that whole thing. It finished and we were kind of like, we're never going to sit in the business class again, are we? And then it was like, for us, like we were the talent.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And we
yeah.
were like, God, we had to like pinch ourselves because they were flying us around like that to be people appearing at stuff.
Yeah.
And there would be like queues of girls to come and meet us.
Oh my God, that's
And it was
amazing.
like, it was crazy for a couple of years. Like I just did stuff like that.
I kind of see you as like a bit of an OG influencer. Like you were one of the first to do it, I suppose.
Yeah.
How is that kind of, because you mustn't have really known what it was. Like an influencer wasn't really a word.
No, it wasn't. And when I think back now, I'm like, God, we didn't even take pictures.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't got that many pictures of it all. Like, what were we doing?
Yeah.
And we would just naturally take a picture, but I wasn't thinking about it like translating to a vlog or anything like how it would happen now.
It wasn't
but
monetizing off the photos.
No, and I think that was why my followers grew so much, was because I was post really natural, but then the boys would post really natural, all of us. And now it's really different. And talent don't post like that. Well, so the Kardashians, for example, they grow their teams as well because they do post their teams.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
things like that. And they're very good at that. And I think it's really clever because I think it makes the fans really invest in those different parts of their life, you know, like.
And it raises people's profile, doesn't it? It's
yeah,
a good
it was
thing for
supportive.
people. Yeah,
With One Direction, they were really supportive of me.
Yeah.
And me growing my career as well. And so, again, I was really lucky with that.
Yeah. Did you know at that point kind of what you were building, like the kind of growth that came with influencing now?
No.
How, like, you can't even imagine that it would ever become what it is today. Do you know what I mean?
No, because at the time I think it just felt like, well, this is like big now, but it'll be the next thing next year or whatever. And Instagram actually, and we weren't TikToking then. We used to do Vines.
Yeah, I remember Vine.
We used to do Vines and they would blow up.
They were a little bit like TikTok actually.
Yeah,
weren't they?
I don't know if they bought it or if Twitter bought it. I don't know.
It's a
but
similar
it disappeared.
concept. Yeah.
But Instagram the sort of rise of that was really parallel to with One Direction. And I think that was really key to how big they became and their popularity, and how I think it'd be quite hard to replicate it again. Because
it's kind of a community then, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just it was happening at the same time. Whereas now I think it just wouldn't grow that big because it's so saturated now because of social media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And another thing you did, which I was really interested in, and I actually tried to get one, but wasn't going to come on time. I wanted it for today, is you wrote The Craft.
Yeah.
Which is, tell me about it.
So I just was having like all of these things thrown at me of different things to do. And I didn't want to do a book about One Direction because one, that would be really unprofessional. And it just wasn't for me to do. And so I just wanted to do sort of just DIY hair and makeup, fun stuff for that age of girls. So their fans were into beauty anyway. And like, I don't know, quite a lot of their fans were kind of like alternative girls and like, you know, kind of like really cool. Yeah. And so I just ended up doing that. It was just like a little project that I did when we had some time off.
I was going to say, when did you fit that in?
And I remember Lottie was like 14 and her mum had asked if she could do her work experience. I was like, well, I'm doing this book that I've agreed to do, so she can come and be my assistant for that. And that was the first time she came to be my assistant, and she just was so shy and wouldn't speak to me. And we just had to shoot like 50 models coming through in like 2 days. You know, one of them shoots where you just die in.
Yeah.
It was one of them.
And in that book, it's quite individual, quirky looks. And it's an amazing representation because it's kind of allowing girls to be themselves, and it's not conforming to the normal glam. Did you feel like that was important?
Yeah, like I say, like when in the industry, I feel like getting that across was always a challenge and something that I would take on as my role to sort of, if you feel like you're being yourself, even if you might look a bit different to a stereotypical glam woman, but if you feel like you're being yourself, I think, you know, the most beautiful woman in the room can walk in and you still feel good.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
Whereas if you're trying to do that same thing, then I think that's where you fall into comparing yourself with other women and things like that when you're sort of conforming to a certain look. I think that British women are really guilty of that as well. They really buy into glam so much.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it makes a lot of, you know, kids who are early teenagers that don't fit into that feel like they're not
Yeah. It's empowering,
beautiful,
isn't it?
Yeah. And so I always tried to make sure that I was doing work that like represented another sort of side of different styles.
I love that. And then you co-founded Tanologist.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
So I had a business partner for Tanologist, and he already had a tanning range called Tanlux, and that was premium. And he was always on at me because he would want me to post stuff, and I don't think he knew anyone else with any followers. So he would like have me come and sit in these meetings and things like that. I just thought he was a genius. He is a genius. He's the smartest person that I've ever met. And Lottie was obsessed with tan, and I was managing Lottie at the time. And she'd started coming together with all of these ideas, and he was pitching at me to do a brand for more mass, so to go into Superdrug, whereas his other brand was premium. It was really expensive.
Yeah.
And he wanted to speak to sort of the Instagram shopper. And so I just connected her with him, and we came up with the product really quickly because he had all the factories and the manufacturing, because he was already in that sector.
Were there.
Yeah. So again, we were really lucky with that deal because they just let us do whatever we wanted with that brand, and it really just worked as well. Like we went over to Australia and it blew up in Australia. Then we went over to America and it blew up in America as well. And it was like, the whole idea of Tanologist is like a clean tan, and it pioneered that really. That hadn't really existed, which I don't know if you ever worked as a makeup artist with any American talent, but when we would have girl bands, I remember people talking about Little Mix at the time. They were launching them in America and they had to strip the glam back because, like we were saying, that's really British. And in America, they need to look younger and not wear as much makeup, and the market just doesn't react to that like it does in the UK. And I think that was why Tanologist did so well there, because they don't really wear tan over there. That market needed a product that wasn't the kind of tan that like British girls wear.
Yeah.
It was like a clean, like the light would sell out in America, whereas the dark sells out in England.
Yeah.
So they're really cautious tanners. Yeah. And Lottie was like, when she came to work for me, she was like 16, and I thought she'd probably be a little bit like, like a full nepo. She just had it given to her. And I was like, I've grafted for this position.
Yeah.
And actually, she was such a grafter, and she just would do anything.
Yeah.
Like I did when I started. She'd be the first one there. She'd clean everything. She'd make everyone's drinks for them, and like just proper grafter. I think it's the northern in her.
Yeah.
And she was like that with Tanologist. She just pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And obviously we had you work with us.
Yes, I love that.
And you were always really supportive.
Do you know what? Tanologist is my favourite tan. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. It's genuinely such a good tan.
It's a really good product.
It's really good.
This is the thing. I think for people who want to launch their own brands, if you've got a good product, it doesn't really matter who's the face of it, really, because
it sells itself.
Yeah. And I think Tanologist, we never connected ourselves like Kylie makeup and all of that stuff. We wanted it to stand on its own as a brand, which it really does.
It does. I feel like Tanologist is one that everyone reaches for. It's kind of the first one you think of. Do you know what I mean? And you've succeeded basically, haven't you? So was this, looking back now, everything that you thought it would be? Like, do you feel like everything that's happened, you expected it to?
Well, no, I didn't expect it. It's such a, and I always say this to Lottie as well, it's such a blur. And I'm like, and we sometimes we'd be like on like a trip with like Boohoo or whatever in the Maldives, and we'd be like, we need to check ourselves here because we just complained about something and look where we are. So we always appreciated it, but now it's all behind us. It's just like, oh, that was so amazing.
Yeah. It's a whirlwind, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And I'm sure it's the same for like you guys when you come out of something like that. And it's like, we've worked with a lot of Love Island girls, and like some of them will be out there like just grabbing every opportunity and being really nice to everyone and things like that. And then you can see some aren't, and I'm like, oh, I want to shake them. Like, God, just take like come down and be on time and take the photos and like make it really good for them, and then they'll use you again. Like it's really straightforward and simple. And like you were really supportive for our brand. So when you say to me, this is what I'm doing, then people remember that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
definitely.
mean?
Yeah.
And people remember nice people in the industry. It's not difficult.
Yeah,
And everyone
definitely.
gets that wrong. And it really frustrates me, you know?
Another thing, what advice would you give to little Lou starting out on the X Factor?
I would say take some more pictures because I'm just gutted
Yeah.
that I just didn't.
Well, that's the good thing about nowadays is that there is so much content
Yeah.
that you have so much to look back on.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And like,
I do.
it's just full of memories. And I think it was on a podcast or something. And it was actually Meghan Markle saying that she writes her kids an email every night.
Does she?
And send it to like an email that's like just a random
Yeah.
name. And I was like, oh my God, what a lovely idea. Because
Yeah.
we've got so much content. We've got pictures, we've got emails, and it's all just there.
With looks, like, obviously, I don't think she can remember any of it.
Yeah.
But she'll YouTube herself.
Oh, I
and
love
she'll
that.
see herself. And actually, when I think back, when people say what your earliest memory, and you try to think what your earliest memory was as a kid, it's actually a photograph. It's actually
Yeah.
something that you've got a photograph of,
Yeah.
and that stays with you. And I think the YouTube videos that she's got, which are probably like the boys carrying her or her in a like an amazing country or on the jet or something like that, or in front of the crowd or stuff, she'll probably does register them as her memories, but they're just YouTubes that she's watched. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's quite nice that
So
she then
nice, yeah.
takes it in as a memory.
Yeah.
Does she realise kind of what she went through?
I think so. She goes, sometimes she's like at 13 now. So sometimes it's like, oh my God, mum, don't flex that about anything. And then sometimes I can tell she's made a friend that's kind of into it and asking a load of questions.
really?
And has
Yeah.
obviously looked at her online or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel a little bit protective of her, the age she's at with social media, because she was like a baby and all of these people knew who she was. But nothing's ever happened.
Is she into her socials?
Not really. I don't know if you've got any teenagers in your life, but they don't post anything on Instagram.
Oh yeah, they delete it. So
No,
what, and
she
delete?
hasn't even got a picture.
Really?
No, it's
That's
so
a new
weird.
thing.
Yeah, it's like it's got to be nothing. So, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I doing then? Because I do try to do a picture every day, which that's what I thought we have to do. I've actually exited from technologists now. And I'm thinking about new brands all the time and things that I want to do and ideas. And I'm thinking, like when I met Lottie, I needed to talk to her, not think I was teaching her anything, because I wasn't. She was teaching me. And I'm a bit like that with looks now. I'm like, okay, their age, and they're all like fussing over like fragrances. And I'm like, what's going on with that? They're like, why are they obsessed with perfume?
Yeah.
There's like trends.
Yeah.
And you can see where it's coming from if you like. And I'm kind of thinking, okay, she's going to end up teaching me here, because we think we know it all. And actually, when it comes to trends and brands and makeup and things like that, it comes from them.
Yeah. It's crazy how much it changes, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this new generation around Lux's age, it's all about like quite minimal makeup, like
Yeah.
you said, perfume, no alcohol.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot. Yeah, it's all very. I'm not going to drink.
Yeah, it's all
she just
quite
curls her
clean.
eyelashes loads,
Does
and I'm
she?
like, how much have you curled your eyelashes? But then doesn't put no mascara, like just clean everything clean.
Oh yeah.
And then like this like little lip gloss, and
yeah,
that's
it's
it.
all very clean. When I was
Yeah.
in school, it was like
Oh my
big
God, yeah.
foundation lips,
Yeah.
blusher, everything.
Well, like some of her cousins and stuff up north, they do that. So I do think there's a regional thing going on
Right,
still.
okay.
And London is all very like stripped back.
Clean aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's so funny.
it's so funny to see how it all develops,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, I've got a little quick fire round with you, and
Yeah.
it's this or that. Okay.
Yeah, go on.
So, hair or makeup,
Hair,
hair or styling,
hair.
hair or interior design. I know you're into interior design.
Yeah, I do like interior design. It's like, this is my mature self coming through. But still probably hair.
Really?
Yeah.
It's in the roots. Fake tan or suntan,
Fake tan.
Homebird or on tour,
Homebird.
X Factor or Britain's Got Talent,
X Factor. Bring it back.
grunge or glam,
Grunge.
festival season or fashion week.
Festival season.
Right, final question, which is something I'm going to do with every single guest, and then it's going to be put into a little basket and doing a giveaway with it. So your ride or die beauty product of all time.
Can I do the Tonologist Face Mist?
Absolutely.
Thanks. Okay, that's
It's
it.
going in the basket.
It's a life changer.
I love it. Right. Thank you so much,
Well,
Lou.
thank you for having me on as your first guest.
Oh my God, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've loved every minute.
And well done. I'm very proud of you and your
so
podcast.
much. I love it. If you've enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you hit follow, share it with a friend, or leave a little review. Thank you so much for watching the first ever episode of In the Makeup Chair. You can keep up with Lou on her socials at Lou Teasdale, and you can find us on socials, TikTok and Instagram at In the Makeup Chair Podcast. For extra bits, guest updates, and loads of behind the scenes. So if you want to see it all, get on our socials. We have so much more to come for the podcast, so I will see you next time in the Makeup Chair.